I'm Mallory here with Beaufort Rentals. I have Matthew Pizzulli, who is a owner of ours and has been with us for over 15 years. He is a veteran with the military, and he's here to chat a little bit about our company and his experience with Beaufort Rentals and the property management in this area. So, thank you very much, Matt, for joining us today. Um,
My
so
pleasure,
just
Mallory. Thanks for having
yeah,
me.
absolutely. We're excited to have you. You said you're coming from Miami, Florida, so we
That's right.
appreciate you coming in. With that being said, you have been from Beaufort. You were stationed here over 17 years ago. So, as someone with the military background and being, in all sorts of different duty stations, how has that experience influenced the way that you kind of approached real estate investing, especially in terms of long-term rentals, which kind of seems like the type of property that you prefer to own in this area?
Yeah, I'll give you a quick story about my background, and then get into the answer to that question. But I spent the last 21 years in the Marine Corps. The Marine Corps brought me to Beaufort, South Carolina. Um, as I was PCSing there, I had a lot of mentors uh, that told me to purchase a home and either rent it out or sell it when I PCS. So I kind of had that stuck in my head. So when I got to Beaufort, I bought my first house right there on Ladies Island. And when you're first getting in the military, you don't have a lot of money, so it's kind of stressful. But you make a big purchase like that, and you try to make ends meet. So the uh, I guess the advice I would have for folks in my situation is, um, it was good. It was a good idea. It was a good investment, and Beaufort Rentals made it easy when I eventually PCSed out. So I spent 3 years there. I PCSed there in 2005. I did a deployment to Iraq, and then when I came
Wow.
back, I got orders to go to Japan. So with a wife who was 4 months pregnant, we got orders to Japan, and we had to leave in November of 2008. So that's when Beaufort Rentals came in, and uh, just so you know, how I got to know Beaufort Rentals and Matt Foiling was word of mouth. So he had a good reputation. My real estate agent, Christy Trumps, told me his point of contact information. I reached out to him, and he was able to take care of the house while I was trying to get ready to go to Japan. So I PCS to Japan, and he found a renter for me, and it worked out really well. So
Nice.
going back to answer your other question about real estate, is it's been a good investment. Again, it's a little precarious at first when you're not making a lot of money, but it's worth it over time.
So just to add to that, so you decided long term because you all weren't going to be coming back to the area. You were stationed in Japan for however long. Did you have any intentions to come back to the area and or not? And that's why you decided, long term is going to be the option for me with this type of investment.
Oh, good question. Long term for me means more than a couple years, and when you PCS, it's usually a 3 to 5 year term. So that's what kind of drove us to the long term rental market. To answer your question, we did consider coming back to Beaufort. We always thought we would move back there.
Hmm.
The Marine Corps had different plans.
As they
so,
do.
so so yes, I think that was always in the back of our heads that we would eventually move back there. Maybe not to the same house, but definitely to the same area. That was definitely one of the options we were considering over the years.
Yeah. And just
So
to
yeah,
have that home base here, or even have a property that if you needed to sell, you had the equity in the area that you could transfer to another property, which is wonderful. So awesome. Yeah. So long term definitely worked for y'all and is still working for y'all and has been for the past 17 years. Is that the only property, Matt? I apologize that I didn't do a little bit
well,
more research. Is that
no,
the
no,
only
good.
property?
No, good question. So again, going back to some good advice I got from senior officers, it was always so we tried to follow it. We didn't always follow it, and looking back, you have regrets, like you should have bought in certain places that we were stationed.
Yeah.
But Beaufort was the first time I purchased, rented it out. Beaufort Rentals did a great job, um, taking care of that, or taking that burden off my shoulders, so I could focus on my job out in Japan, and raising my family and things like that. So the advice I got from senior officers, going back to that, was purchase a home, rent it out, move, and purchase a home again. And I kind of tried to repeat that as I went along, and I would continue to do it as I move forward as well. It just makes a lot of sense. Now, there is one caveat: everybody's situation is different. Everybody's financial situation is different.
Absolutely.
And we had a crash in 2008 that scared everybody out of purchasing rental properties. So if you think about it as a long-term rental, then, or a long-term investment, it absolutely pays off in the long run. But it is not a get rich quick. You don't get rich quick. You actually, at the very beginning, most of your income goes into paying off the mortgage, paying off the maintenance, those kind of things. You don't experience the value and of the rental property until a few years down the road. And then once you get a few years under your belt, it's absolutely worth it. And I'd say it's on par with any other investment that you might invest in the stock market or anywhere else. So
Absolutely.
anyway.
Absolutely. Takes time to grow. You can't have ups, you can't have downs. And even as what you just said, the mortgage is being paid off, during that time that, you might not necessarily be making money, but you technically are because your mortgage is being paid and it's not coming out of your pocket. So I do think it is just a phenomenal process for people who want to keep adding to the portfolio, have someone else pay that mortgage for you and keep adding. So all of these properties that you have, are these all marine based outside of, marine bases? Is that why you chose those areas? Because they are going to have a high return because of them having that influx of military members coming in and out for tenancy?
Excellent question. Yes. They have all been close to either Marine Corps bases or military bases. I'm close to a joint base down here in Miami. Hawaii is close to a Marine Corps base, Kaneohe Bay. And you're absolutely correct. When you invest in properties close to bases, that's another pro tip, if you will, that I've never had a problem finding a renter. And going back to Beaufort Rentals, at the very beginning, when Matt was first getting started out, there might have been a month or two where we're having a hard time finding a renters. But for the last 17 years, I don't think we've ever missed, we've never had a vacancy. So, and matter of fact, I think we've only had two, maybe three renters in there the whole time. And that just shows to the professionalism of Beaufort Rentals and their capability of keep finding good renters, keeping good renters, and keeping them in the house, and making the investment worth it.
Absolutely. 17 years and, three, even four tenants is incredible over that time period. So absolutely. That's the consistency that we aim for whenever it comes to our leasing. So we're very thankful that you've had a great experience, and it makes us really proud to hear that. So with that, I know all these properties that you have, I assume that they're all single family units. They are single family specifically because that's something that your family was living in and then you wanted to rent it out? Or is it because that was just, I don't want to deal with any, duplex situations. I just want to deal with the single family property. Is that the reason why you veered towards single family properties?
Yes, good question. And yes, every rental property, or every property that we owned that turned into a rental property, had to facilitate, my wife and two kids. So it had to be big enough for that. I think we considered multifamily duplexes, Um, Either we didn't feel comfortable doing that, or we didn't have the funds for a duplex, or we didn't want to deal with multifamily. That said, I'd be open to that now that I've had some experience under my belt with investments and real estate. The idea of duplex or triplex or multifamily, it does interest me. It just that's not the way we went. It's
Yeah,
when you move somewhere, you want to make sure the wife and kids are happy for when you're deployed somewhere. So you want to make sure um, they kind of get what they want, and then
yeah.
when you move, then you can really easily find renters when it's a place that you're willing to live as well.
Exactly. So a single family home turned into a single family home. It's going to suit, a family happily regardless. So I think that's really smart. And you were able to also, during the time of living there, turn it into a property, make sure that things were done that needed to make it into a proper rental. So you were able to firsthand have that experience and that hands-on work with the property to make sure that it was a quality rental for your next tenant, which is great. A lot of people, might not have the opportunity to, live in the property prior to, or some people might, as accidental landlords, might not ever see the property. So you
Right.
experiencing it as a home is phenomenal. So with that, when you were looking for the property manager in this area to assist, I know you said word of mouth was how you found out about us, which is really amazing. Was there certain aspects of a property management company that you were looking for whenever you were doing this search?
Well, at the time, I had to trust the people that I knew.
Hmm.
I had built a relationship with the real estate agent that I was working with. I trusted her. She gave me the point of contact. She gave me a couple of different ones. Matt was one of them. I called them both, interviewed them both, and felt comfortable working with Matt at the time.
Awesome.
Um, I'd like to say that I was smart enough back then to ask the right questions, but I wasn't. Not back then. Um, I was I
Well,
was really
trust is a big thing. Trust is a
yeah
big thing, especially down here.
yeah. I was trusting the people that I trusted, if that makes sense,
Hmm.
um, and it worked out. You never know if you just never know. So, but over time, over a 17-year experience, over a 17-year relationship, we've gotten to know each other here on all the things that
Well,
make him great. But
I'm just-
here's a list real quick. Good communication, good
Absolutely.
reports, good pictures, and good inspections. So
Yeah.
I get emails at least once a month from the team. And if there's an issue or question that needs to be answered, I get more emails and more communication. There's good reports. There's reports on the owner's portal, make it easy to track things and do my taxes every year, which is an important thing.
Absolutely.
Uh, Good pictures. So whenever there's storm damage or a broken door or a broken, I don't know, light fixture, fan, something like that, I always get a really good picture. So I don't just have to take their word for it. They're showing me what's wrong. And
Yeah.
then it helps me make a decision on whether we need to address it now or if it can wait a little bit later. Um, and then not only going back to good communication, I'd say that you guys also have great communication with a tenant. When the tenant has a problem, I think they also go into a portal system and launch a maintenance request or something like that.
Absolutely.
And when the renter feels like their needs are being addressed, then they're more, that they're feeling like they feel like they're getting value as well. So the renters
Absolutely.
are happy and the landlords are happy in this case.
And
And
that
then
means that they'll stay for a prolonged period of time.
oh, that's exactly right. And I've experienced that. I think I have. I don't know if they're the best renters ever, but somebody told me once that good renters are the renters that pay their rent, and that's true. I think I have exceptional renters because every time I've been there to inspect it personally over the years, I've been a few times. The house is very well taken care of. I have had no complaints. They seem to address all the issues. They keep a clean house, and again, I think they're treating the house like it's their own. So again, props to Beaufort Rentals for finding them. That was really, really valuable.
Awesome. And that's why we're here, and we really appreciate that. And the quality home is something that we take pride in. Obviously, it's not our home, but it's your home that we are trusted to take care of. So we want you to have the same quality home that you gave us 17 years ago. So obviously, there is going to be natural wear and tear over those 17 years, but we want you to understand that, we're doing everything that we can.
Oh yeah.
So with that, I think we're kind of coming to a close on our questions here, but I do want to kind of, see if there's any additional advice that you would give military members in the area who are considering buying in the area and making it a rental, or who are looking for property management. Do you have any advice for our local military members or owners?
Yeah, of course I do. I always have advice. I'm old now, so
Come on, give up the advice.
my game is advice. Yeah. Everyone's situation is different, but all things being equal, I would advise that they do the same thing that I did, and follow the same advice that I received. So as you PCS to different places, if you have the means, by all means, purchase a home, live in it for 2 to 3 years, then rent it out if feasible. Don't buy too much house. Don't live beyond your means. And if you follow that advice, your rentals will eventually pay off in the long run. So that's my advice. Can I go back to I didn't sing enough praises for Beaufort Rentals in the last question. I just wanted to cover.
Let's go back.
Well, the other good thing is the inspections. And I know this might maybe a recent ad, but I just recently saw an inspection report that was very thorough. So somebody went through the house, noted everything, went through a checklist, and then took pictures of any concerns. So again, that was very, very professionally done. And I think it's going to be either an annual or semi-annual event. So
absolutely.
I thought that was
Absolutely. We recently launched a new inspection program where we're doing two throughout the year. One's going to be an exterior inspection, do that same full reporting for you, offer any photos. And the second one's going to be that interior inspection. Same thing, do a full report, photos, because we really want, to make sure that those eyes are on the property and that y'all can see it as well. Absolutely.
Oh yeah, and that's been fantastic. And then I think to the question of how do I know it's working? Like, how do I know, or how do you know as a customer
absolutely
that you have a good property manager? So, because there's a check deposited every month in your bank account. And if it's ever short funds, Beaufort Rentals has already told me why it's short for any kind of maintenance issues or concerns that were maybe addressed. And if they haven't emailed me for some odd reason, I can easily go into the portal and look it up, and all the documentation is there. So again, having a really good, clear communication, documentation, and then just really good, solid rapport with both the owners and the tenants, and building those relationships. And I think that's been the key to success, is just building those relationships over time and establishing that consistency. And once you do that, I mean, it makes the decision a lot easier. It takes a lot of stress out of it, and it makes it worth it, basically.
Absolutely.
It's a scary endeavor when you put a bunch of money, or put a bunch of borrowed money into an investment.
Exactly.
So do your research, do your due diligence, and I would recommend Beaufort Rentals. But everybody's situation is different. So I hope that answered the question. Sorry, did you have any other questions?
No, I didn't. I think that's phenomenal, and I really appreciate all of that. I think what you just said, it's all about relationship building, because this is a partnership. We need to work simultaneously together and make sure that this works smoothly, that the communication's there, that everybody's feeling heard, and that the property's taken care of, and everybody, whether that be the tenant, owner, and us. So we need to have that be a really nice relationship, and I think our company really takes pride in making sure that happens. And I'm really thrilled to hear that you've experienced that over your time of working with us. So that's awesome.